So I'm officially between 25, 30 pounds down or so on my diet. I'm loving it. I feel fantastic. I can actually see the muscle coming out through all the fat. So we're getting there, and I'm really excited to see my body changing as it is. So if you want results like this, or better, hopefully, head in the description below for Ideal Health. Check out Stephanie's system and see how it can benefit you. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Hamster Business Show. My name is Chris Pastrana, and today we're here with Jason Briand of Hard Surface Solutions. How's it going?
Good, Chris. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. So let's get some history on you, the business, and all of it.
Well, it's funny, I hear a lot of people say, how'd you get into this and stuff. And I owned an auto detailing business. We started that out in 2003. Started off in Goffstown. Acquired another business in 2004. Moved to Manchester. Name of that was Distinguished Detailing. How I got into this, it's kind of funny. Auto detailing is a very seasonable thing.
Yeah.
We had a lot of wholesale accounts and things like that, retail accounts, but when winter came, we really relied on that wholesale. So I started kind of looking into other things that we could do. My nature, I've kind of grown up in that some type of cleaning environment, my whole life pretty much. From when I was putting myself through college, I was washing cars at a dealership in Nashua. My passion for auto detailing kind of grew from there, but so I've always been kind of like a self-proclaimed cleaning geek, if you will.
Yeah.
I kind of stumbled onto this. I saw an ad on some website that I was on, and I started looking more into it. And it was for hard surface cleaning. The timing, it was really, really interesting. I'm like, oh wow! I didn't even know that existed, but I could definitely see a need for it because I never heard of it. I saw a bunch of carpet cleaners, things like that, but nobody was doing anything with tile or solely with tile. So I looked into that, talked to a lot of different people, looked into a lot of different avenues, found even a training place out in Arizona somewhere. I didn't realize the expense though was so large, so the timing just wasn't right to expand into something. And
Yeah.
I was still growing that business, the auto detailing business, and kind of put it off on the back burner and never reopened that chapter for, almost 10 years. I was selling boats on Lake Winnipesaukee. That's where I'm from, the Lakes region.
Yeah.
So selling boats on Lake Winnipesaukee, and as you can imagine, after Labor Day, Columbus Day, things really slow down in the lake.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of time on my hands, and I was researching a boat, and I just happened to see an ad. And I said, wow, I haven't looked at that for years, and it just happened to be for that same training facility out in Arizona. So I started looking into that again. I'm like, that was something that always intrigued me. So I started looking into it, kind of started getting that itch. I've never been successful working for anybody else.
Yeah.
I've always been good at what I've done for other people, but that wasn't my passion. My passion was always being out there. Started a lot of different businesses, from the auto detailing. I actually was in insurance for a while. There was a couple of things, but nothing kind of really stuck. Then I fell into this again, and I figured, the timing's right. Took a leap of faith, and here I am. About a year and a half, so we're in our second year of hard surface cleaning.
Yeah.
So we specialize right now in tile and grout cleaning, primarily.
Okay.
But hard surface cleaning is anything from tile and grout to concrete to stamped concrete. We've even done gym floors where they have that hermetic type of floor, that rubberized floor.
Yeah.
Because there's no real simple way to clean those surfaces. Mop and bucket. I was recently read an article on LinkedIn about how kind of mop and buckets are a thing of the past, and it really is, especially with all the new types of flooring that are out there, from the vinyl floors that look like wood. They still have those grains in the tile, and it's hard to clean with a mop and bucket unless you're really scrubbing it and getting into those grooves. Just regular foot traffic can kind of compact that dirt. So there's no real easy way to clean. So here I am.
That's pretty cool. I love those types of stories where it's like, oh, we kind of put it off, and then you just see it again, and you're like, let's do it. And it totally rings true when you're like, I can't work for anyone else. I'm like, I got you there. Like, I got that. Like,
yeah, it's a weird thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
People, like my mom and dad, they're always very skeptical. I've had friends that come up to me and they're like, well, is it worth it? You seem like you're working all the time. You seem like you're always stressed. I'm like, oh, it's not that I'm always stressed, but there's always 1,000 things going on in your mind.
Yeah.
Always. Whether it's a slow time, whether it's a busy time, you're always thinking about it. You're like, okay, what can I do now to start filling up my schedule? Or, was it the right time to hire more people? Or whatever it is, it's always something on your mind. But is it worth it? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just at the end of the day, being able to be like, I make the decision, win or fail, like, it's on you. And, like, there's a type of, I don't want to say rush, but it's a good feeling where I've worked with people in the past where, like, you're making the wrong move, and then company goes, and I'm like, well, I told you, but there's nothing I could do, Yeah. So, yeah.
I hear you there.
Yeah.
I've worked for actually really big companies, and just, my vision was just a little bit different. And not to say that it was right or wrong, or, I was a disgruntled employee or anything. It's just, you don't get the same satisfaction when you're working for somebody else.
Yeah.
I think. So I've always been that entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah.
My mom and dad, they're always like, worked for the same company for years and years. And unfortunately, when we had the recession in 2007, 2008, both lost their employment. So
Yeah.
it's like, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. There's a risk with anything. You don't have that security that you used to. When our grandparents worked in same place 50 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like you said, at any moment you could hit a bad time in the economy, and people they get scared and they fire people, or the company goes under and they have to fire a bunch of people, and no job is actually all that safe. So you're right. I love the entrepreneurial mindset, because even if something happens and you go the blockbuster route where they're completely out of the market, you come up with something new, start over.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So now that we sidetracked a little bit, let's talk about like what you do, because that's kind of pretty cool. Because I've actually heard it on the radio before. Someone was complaining about like tile floor, and they're like, we can never figure out how to clean it, and it's something that comes up quite a bit because it's odd. Yeah.
Well, it is odd. It's one of those things where every house that I ever walk into, whether it's a home or a business, really, they're like, I've tried everything. I've been on my hands and knees, scrubbing my grout lines. It looks good for a couple of days, and then it's back. And there's a lot of different reasons behind it, and the internet is just full of stuff. Being nervous, I was really nervous about coming in today. I'm like, geez, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I brought my notebook. I'm like, oh my god, what am I going to do? But it's funny because last night I was just kind of playing on my phone. I'm looking at really the top misconceptions that I see on a daily basis, and then I started looking at it on the internet. I'm like, what's really out there?
Yeah.
And the things that are out there, you look at it and you're like, what is wrong? I'm like, how is this going to work? I'm like, if people intelligently look at that, I'm like, how does that work? So there's a lot of misinformation on the internet, from using vinegar, to clean your grout lines, and baking soda and things like that. It's just, those folks, stop doing it. It just doesn't work. It's funny, I recently just ran into somebody who works in the dental field. When I'm cleaning floors, I'm always using dental references. Getting on your hands and knees trying to scrub your grout lines with a toothbrush or a brush and some type of cleaner, it's going to make it look better, a lot better, but unfortunately it's going to get dirtier a lot faster.
Yeah.
So, we go in, that's what we specialize in. We do all sorts of things from tile to carpet to concrete. We do a lot of garages for folks. Garages, I think, are probably the worst neglected area people
probably
just don't like.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about cleaning the tile and things, using a toothbrush on your tile and grout, it's counterintuitive. And mopping is probably the worst thing that you can do for your tile. Think about this for a second. When you're cleaning your tile, when you're mopping it, you're cleaning the tops of the tile, right? Mm-hmm. Your grout is recessed, so that water all dirty and all of its glory goes in and settles into those grout lines. That's where it evaporates, and that's where the dirt stays.
Yeah.
And as you walk on it, you're really compacting that more and more. So mopping, again, is probably the worst thing that you can do. What we do is we actually go in, we use what they call a steam cleaning method, even though it's not really operating on steam. But there's a couple of key components to it. There's 4 key components. First thing we do when we go in, we pre-treat an area, or sweep it if it's really needs to be cleaned up a little bit more.
Yeah.
But we'll go in and we'll pre-treat an area, and it's gonna like sit on the floor for a couple of minutes at least. And that's the solution that we use. And we have green methods, we have regular cleaners and things like that.
Yeah.
But it has to sit on the floor because that's kind of what you're using to emulsify that dirt and that grease and everything that we might find in a kitchen or a bathroom, things like that. The second component into that is agitation, which what we use is we actually use what they call a tile spinner. Very common tool in the industry. A lot of guys are using it. A lot of guys will use mechanical brushes and things like that. But the tile spinner for what we're talking about, what we use, is high pressure water, and that's kind of what's doing the agitation. On average, it's coming out about 12 to 1500 psi under a contained unit, so it's not splashing all over the place. But that's what's basically getting into the nooks and crannies of your grout. We talked about a little bit about with the brushing. I use a lot of dental analogies because think about brushing your teeth for a second. You're brushing the surface of the grout, but as we all know, grout is very porous. It's tough to get into those nooks, those crannies, and everything else. So when you're cleaning with a brush, you're cleaning the surface, but you're leaving all of that dirt and that grease and that bacteria, mold, whatever's in there, in those pores. Bacteria, mold grow back very rapidly, and that's why a lot of people get on their hands and knees and use that brush method. It's why it gets dirty so fast.
Yeah.
Not to mention what they're using for cleaners too. A lot of cleaners, people think you need to use a little bit more to get a better result. The problem with a lot of the cleaners out there is they're very viscous. And what that means is just that it takes a lot to rinse those products clean.
Okay.
So if you're cleaning on your hands and knees, then you're mopping in just once, that might not be enough. So leaving those chemical residues behind will actually attract more dirt and make it stick. So again, that's another reason why it gets dirty so fast. So using that agitation, the third component is the heat. Our water is it's coming out of the nozzles about 200 and usually about 210, 215, which is right around boiling point. But it's coming out at such high pressure, it stays in its liquid form. So that heat, we've all washed dishes. It's a lot easier to wash dishes in warm water than it is cold water. Heat's a big factor in that. It helps break up those oils, especially in kitchens around cooking surfaces and things like that.
Yeah.
And then the fourth thing is the extraction. So as we're doing it, it's not only flushing out all the dirt, all that grime, all that oil. The heat is also helping break up those oils. It's also sanitizing. So bacteria, mold, mildew, anything that's in the nooks and crannies, it's actually destroying it. And then the extraction just takes it all out into the trailer that we use.
Yeah.
So it sounds like it's a really in-depth process, but really you see it in action. It's pretty simple.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, pretty straightforward stuff. And people watching it are like, I can't believe it. I always thought my grout was that color.
Yeah.
I get that a lot. So it's very satisfying, and I think even when I was detailing cars, I mean that's at the end of the day, that's what I love the most. It's when a customer will text you later in the day, or when you finish, they're like, oh my god, it's like the instant gratification.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it all worth it. It's hard work. It's not easy, but at the end of the day, that's what makes it worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So we're going to take a quick break for the sponsors. Everyone, hold on. If you want a new and kind of interesting way to market, check out our business board here on the other side of the room. As you can see, it is steadily growing, and it's only $20 for the year. So if you would like to join our board with the other fantastic entrepreneurs who want to be seen every day on the New Hampshire Business Show, jump in the description below. Let me know. Summer is here. It's right around the corner. And if you're like me and I hate being outside and mowing my own lawn, I would be the perfect candidate for project quoting if all the landscapers had it up on their websites. So head in the description below if you're a landscaper, anyone who does work outside and quotes clients. This is the perfect opportunity to get your name in front of clients and have them self-quote themselves. And all you do is get their information on the back end. So it cuts out a ton of work for you, and it makes lead generation that much easier. Just check it out. When you originally reached out, I was like, hard surface. For some reason I thought floors, which because clearly that's hard, but there's probably, there's tile and a lot of other things too. So do you do like, say like showers and that type of stuff, or anything hard essentially?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've done anything from shower enclosures. There's different tools, different spinners for, things like that. Absolutely. I mean, primarily we do a lot of floors.
Yeah.
But a lot of shower enclosures. We've actually done mason walls. They get the green mildew and I'm not sure if it's algae, but it gets like that moss on it. Things like that. We clean granite posts that people have. They get dirty. They get black. So we've done a lot with that. We've even done a lot with exterior of homes, like vinyl siding. Okay. There's a lot of guys out there who do pressure washing, and I'm not out there to compete, but there's certain things that we can do that kind of fit in our wheelhouse. So, we're always expanding things like that. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And it's interesting because I can only picture what these things look like as you're like trying to scrub out all this like the grime and stuff. And I can only imagine how gross something that would probably be.
Yeah. Oh, some are. We actually did one where it was an older bathroom. All the little 2-inch little tiles. And
Wow.
just looking at it like, oh my gosh. But the tools actually do a lot of the work for us. It's not very often that we actually have to get in there and literally scrub unless there's some type of coating, things like that.
Yeah. Huh. That's pretty cool. And I love technology, just how things have advanced over the years where we don't need a mop anymore, where mop is bad.
Yeah, well, it can be for sure. Yeah. Well, think about the surfaces that we used to have too. I mean, you go into any box store, it's all like that smooth, really shiny tile.
Yeah.
Not a lot of texture to it at all. And ideally, I mean, that's great for mopping still. There's still a lot more that goes into that.
Yeah,
but
that makes sense.
When you start getting into the textures, mopping is one of the worst things that you can do. Unless improper mopping, I should say. There's a need for it still, but a lot of ways people are going like the low moisture methods, like the Swiffers and things like that, as long as you're not oversaturating. But your biggest defense is going to be your dry sweeping those surfaces, every day. So you're not walking on those surfaces, kind of compacting that dirt or sand that's already there.
You have people that get like white grout for whatever reason, and later on they're like, oh, that's not black. I thought that was black.
Well, I always tell people, because I get that a lot. Even my current customers that use us, they're like, well, I don't really need it right now because my tile's still clean. And it's always, if you have tile in your home, look at your edges. If it's lighter than what you see in the middle, you need to get those clean. Look at a commercial building. Your corners, anything that has less floor traffic, under something that doesn't move. Your corners, your edges. Not very often that we walk right along the edge of our walls. That's usually how you can tell. The color difference. Not always, but for the most part, that's how you can really tell if your grout and tile needs to get clean.
That is a really good point. So everyone, go look into your floors if you got them, and be like, oh my God, there's like 4 different shades across your floor.
Right.
Yeah.
That brings up a really good point, though. I mean, there's so much misinformation on the internet how to clean it. You can actually ruin a lot of your tile. A lot of people use bleach. I can't say enough. Don't use bleach for a lot of reasons. I mean, bleach will actually, think about if you get it on your clothes, it will actually take the color out of your grout. And it's so caustic.
It makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so caustic. It doesn't take a lot to break down bleach. Like you can rinse it pretty easily, from your floor, especially if you got pets and kids and things like that. To me, I always tell my clients, we're always cleaning for sanitation first. Then it's for aesthetics at the second. But using bleach is it's good for killing mold and mildew and things like that. But you really don't want to use it because a lot of people are very sensitive to the fumes of bleach. If people have birds, canaries, parrots, things like that. That can kill your birds. And it's not good for us either, at all. It gets on your hands, you can get rashes, cause burns, things like that.
Yeah.
But it can start to break down your grout too. I've gone into homes where it's been a darker color. They've been using bleach for forever, cleaning their floors, because it's the only thing that works, right? And you professionally clean it, and then when you're done, you look at it and you're like, wow, the grout's kind of like orangey. It was like a brown. Now it's like an orangey color, and that's the bleach oxidizing the color right out of your grout.
Yeah.
And it's so blotchy. You'll have a darker area, a lighter area, and it all depends on how the bleach sat.
Yeah.
So just don't use it. If you have a question, have somebody come out. Whether it's me or somebody else. You want to make sure you do your due diligence when you're looking at a company.
Yeah.
But we actually have. I saw this concept and I came up with it. We actually have on the back of our business cards, we have a 1-800 number. It's a pre-recorded kind of line. You need to press 1 for this, 2 for this. But it's an information line. We talk about the misconceptions of cleaning tile and grout. We talk about how to hire a company, the things to ask, because let's face it, what do you have to go on? If I asked you, how do you hire a tile and grout cleaning company, what would you say?
Sure. Literally, all you can do is go online, go to Google or something, type in some names, see if we get something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the most common thing, people will call me and they're like, well, how much is it?
Yeah.
Because it's the only thing we all know is what to say. We can't base it on anything else because you're not an expert in it.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you hire a company? Well, most people will say, well, how much is it? Well, there's a lot of factors that go into that. You know, like us as a company, we don't give prices over the phone. It's not that we don't want to, but I hate to say like if you called me up and said, hey, I got a small bathroom, how much roughly would it be? Well, I could say, well, Chris, it could be $50, it could be $150, depending on the size, depending on this, that.
How dirty?
Well, that for sure. The soil level for sure. But
sir, are you dirty?
But I walk into your house, the day of the cleaning, I give you a price. Say it's a real small bathroom. Most people here in New England, it's not like down south where their whole house is tiled. Here, it's mostly your kitchen, maybe a dining room, master bath, and maybe a secondary bath. But say it's a 5x5 bathroom. It's 25 square feet. Well, based on our math, how we charge by the square footage, that would be roughly it's about $60, for a bathroom like that. But I go into your home, and the day of the cleaning, you're expecting to pay $60, and I go in, we start cleaning it, and all of a sudden there's a coating. Somebody had put like a sealer down. Maybe it was an improper sealer. We have a little bit of damage we need to fix. If the grout's cracking or it's missing grout, we have to address those things too. The downside of using pressure is there's a lot of, again, misconceptions out there about the pressure that comes out of those nozzles of 1500 psi. Is that going to ruin my grout? Well, the answer is no. Grout is rated for a lot higher psi rating than that. But if there's loose grout or broken grout or cracked grout, some of that can come out. We can address that, and then we also have other things too. So at the end of the job, I'm a very open and honest person with all my clients. They'll all say the same thing. I'm pretty confident about that they're all going to say, "Oh, Jason's great. He's honest. He'll give you probably too much information." Because I do. Part of my business is also educating my clients. I don't want my customers once. In my business, we don't call our customers. We call them clients. Yeah. Customers insinuate once and done. We're looking to build relationships. But at the end of the day, I don't want to be bunched into that group of cleaners that fall into that bait and switch. where they say, yeah, it's going to be $50, and I finish up and I give you an invoice and say, oh, well, Chris, we had to do this, we had to do this, we had to do this. Now it's $200. You know, you're not going to be happy with me because you weren't expecting $200.
Yeah. Oh, I gotcha.
I've even stopped in the middle of a job or just starting a job and been like, hey, Mr. Jones or Mrs. Jones, you know, we're running into a little bit of an issue. You know, we're going to take care of this and clean this. But I want to let you know now. We can stop. It's going to be no charge today, or this is how we can address it. This is what it'll be. We'll figure out a price and go from there. You know, but that's why we don't do things over the phone because there's too many variables.
Yeah.
Too many variables. So we try to be honest. You know, when I go into a client's home and I do what we call a floor inspection or a floor audit, we're looking for everything. We're doing tests because you need to know these things. You know, you call me up and you say, yeah, I got a small bathroom. Ceramic tile is a lot different than a natural stone like a marble. Cleaning methods are not the same. Acid type cleaners, your vinegars, your things like that. If you have a natural stone, that will actually ruin your stone. It will etch your stone. It'll make it dull, especially if you have like a shiny marble or a limestone, anything like that. Using any type of acidic based cleaner, and especially vinegar, will actually etch your stone to the point where it's going to require a lot more than just a cleaning to restore it.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. So there's a lot. I mean, we're certified. I went down to Florida for 2 weeks to get certified. It is a lot of book work, and you know, at the end of the week, it's like your head just wants to explode. You're like, wow, these are things that I never even knew. Never
would have thought of.
Yeah. You know, but you run into it every single day.
Yeah.
I went into a home recently, and the bathroom is all marble. The shower enclosure, it's one of those beautiful showers, got 2 heads on either end of the shower.
Yeah.
And it's a shiny marble, and we were doing the inspections and things like that, and I just happened to look at the walls of the shower, and I'm like, uh-oh. So I asked her, I'm like, well, how are you cleaning this? And she tells me I use vinegar. And it's like, you could tell, you know, this is supposed to be a real shiny marble, like glass-like, and it's about as shiny as the walls right now.
Oh, wow.
You know, it etches. It can be restored and reconditioned, but it's beyond cleaning. Now it's going to take honing and polishing.
Yeah, a lot more work.
Yeah, a lot more in depth, and it can be costly. You know, a lot of the guys that do this, like the polishing and honing, it can be quite costly. So don't use acids, and if you're not familiar with it. Even toilet bowl cleaner. If you have marble floors, you got to be very careful when you're using toilet bowl cleaners because it's an acidic cleaner. So there's a lot of things that go into it.
Yeah, like just sitting through this conversation, it's like there's a lot going on that, you know, people probably don't know, and you know, if you're not quite sure what even you have on your floor, you know, you could go online, pick the wrong product, and screw your floor up pretty hard.
Yeah.
So, that's pretty cool. Well, not cool for them, but you know.
Well, you know what is funny is you know, tile cleaning and hard surface cleaning in the Northeast it's not a new concept, but it's funny how many people you talk to that be like, I never even knew this existed. And there's a lot of companies out there that offer the service. You know, a lot of your carpet cleaning companies, they offer tile cleaning as an add-on. We're kind of the opposite. You know, that's all we do is we specialize in hard surfaces, and we do carpet as well. You know, I don't advertise carpet cleaning. Usually it's for our existing clients and, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you know, you have to make sure that you're hiring the right company. Have they been trained properly? Are they certified? You know, things like that, because there's so much that gets involved. Even though we all have the same, what we call tile spinners to clean tile, if your machines that you're using that's in the truck or in the trailer isn't the proper, it's not generating the PSI that you need, or it's not generating the temperature that you need, you're going to get subpar results. So I've been told that a lot, like, oh, I had XYZ company come in, they cleaned it, and it just, you know, it just didn't come out as what I expected. And that's why we do floor audits and things like that, because we're also trying to set the expectation. Because even though we clean it, you know, grout it's one of those things. It's a porous material. It absorbs everything. It can stain easily. So even after it's professionally clean, we can clean that to make it look as close to its original as it was freshly laid. But
Yeah.
sometimes you just, there's always going to be a darker area. And that's the other thing. You want a company that can address that after the fact. It has options to restore that without having to replace the whole tile.
Yeah.
And I've had many customers that say, well, we're going to clean it, but we're really thinking that we're going to replace it. And then, you give them a couple options. It's a fraction of the cost, and they're like, oh my God, it looks brand new.
Yeah.
So
Very cool.
yeah, it really is. It's amazing. It's been an amazing ride. Where the people that we've met along the way. We're still a young company, so we're still growing. It's mostly just me. My son helps me out in the summer. Sometimes I'll have a couple of guys that will help me on larger jobs and things like that. But it's been a great journey so far.
Yeah. Very good. Cool. So people that want to reach out, maybe schedule you to come look at their floors and all that stuff, how do they do it?
Well, basically, you can go to our website. We're under kind of rehabbing our website at the moment, so again, keep in mind we're still new, but it's hssnh.com. So it just stands for Hard Surface Solutions, New Hampshire. Or they can reach out to our cell number, which is 603-393-1336. Or you can visit our Facebook page. If you like looking at before and afters, Facebook is definitely a place to go.
Oh, that's very
From
cool.
live videos to befores and afters, things like that.
All right. Awesome. Thank you for coming out today. It's been a lot of fun.
No, I appreciate you having me out.
Yeah, I learned a ton about things I didn't know, and now I get to laugh at my wife for things that she was going to tell me she knew, but didn't.
So yeah, absolutely. And again, stay away from the things that you see on Facebook or on the internet about cleaning your tile and grout. Give a professional a call to be able to give you an honest opinion. Right way to handle things and deal with things.
Yeah, very good. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching. We had a lot of fun today. Learned a lot. Fixed that. So we're going to have the last word from our sponsors. So everyone have a good day. Because the word is thrown around a lot, people typically don't understand just how powerful a funnel for your business is, and people don't understand it. So just to give you guys a quick rundown, a funnel is essentially a way to automate the lead gen process for your business. It helps collect leads from social media that you wouldn't have gotten before. It takes advantages of all of the information available online so that you can collect a viable lead to work in your business. Now, with our funnels, we're able to go from beginning to the end of the sales process if you want to, or we can do just a quick capture on the front end. We can handle it all for literally almost every business. So reach out, find us in the description below by Funnels by Kiara, and we'll get you hooked up. That's it for today, everyone, but it doesn't have to end there. Head over to iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or iHeartRadio to get more from New Hampshire's top entrepreneurs.